Testing, live from in orbit. I'm in the space lab. Haven't been here in a long time. Thought I'd get a look from above tonight. Welcome, everybody, to Mud Flood Was Armageddon. The Mud Flood was the Armageddon. Don't let them tell you anything else unless they're willing to debate you in a fair and honest way. My life is mostly deja vu. I'm going to be doing this, have been doing this, teaching the same thing for darn near a decade now. Unwavering. 9/11, 17/11, or 7/11. 45 more years. We'll talk about it. We've got what's going on in the world today. So I've got to show a disclaimer. I was kind of hoping RJ would pop in. Has anybody noticed, I got Paco's dangling participle? Been? That's the dangling participle because it's been what? I thought it was funny. So we got this thing, and there it is. Not that old, this whole YouTube fair use, always being revised. Everything's being revised. Very few pictures today. This one's as important. Looking at that, why do some men feel like they have to have a comb over? They're going to fool people. I got a lot of hair. I am a movie star. Ooh, we're going to get into some how they're poisoning you, and some new images reveal details of two bacteria's molecular syringes help design of nano devices that target bacteria so they can look at the body can do it, we can do it. Oh, there it is. Here's a better picture of it right there. I guess that's the syringe right here. It says tiny molecular syringes, illustrated tan, thanks, are anchored to internal membranes, green, where cyanobacteria called anabanana, anabaena, carry out photosynthesis. Without the light, that's kind of weird. So they're coming up with stuff. Hubert Boyer Stanley Cohen made the first genetically modified organism in 1973. The year famous for, yay, the camel's noses under the tent for abortion. It started with, in the 13 weeks, first 13 weeks, if it's an emergency, and it ended up, well, I've heard of things called partial birth abortion. In 2019, it was revealed that Richardson, that's Bill Richardson, was among those named in court documents from a civil suit between Virginia Giuffre and Jeffrey Epstein associate Jolene Maxwell. The documents are unsealed on the 19th, the day before Epstein's death. She was trafficked by Epstein, and Maxwell, including Richardson, he denied it all. But I mean, I'm neck deep in this diversity stuff right here, man, at Adams State University. And look at, there's my friend Joaquin and his wife. I'm going to call him. I think that they're going to these things to get free food. That's what, that's what it, I know some of the people in the crowd, and, he's just not fake like they are. Here's what they're doing. So count off from 1 to 10, move to a table, brainstorm, choose a person who hasn't spoke yet. Because as she's saying, this diversity initiative, all right, so if you'd like to simply split up, but it's happening. This is yesterday. This was yesterday on their, it says they have 14,100 subscribers, no likes. I looked at their videos. It's sad. They don't get no views. Hey, this is the guy right here that said, have a good weekend, keep it evil. And then he told me they're just joking. They're just joking around. I think I got a better picture of the more diverse crowd. Co-conspirators, what does that mean in their world from the National Education Association? Co-conspirators, open quote, take unapologetic action against racism and oppression, regardless of the consequences, to dismantle the system of whitey culture and the benefits they receive from it. This is going on yesterday at our school, and everybody's going like, wow, how'd that fight go? Well, I fought him to the death, and it was hard. Thanks. Thanks for asking. I hope I didn't make it look too easy. What do you say when a student repeatedly interrupt a female identified person? This is yesterday. After a non-binary student shared their pronouns, a colleague or student continuously misgenders them or correctly misgenders them. Adams is begging for a fight. They're the worst school in Colorado, and they just are digging in on stupidity. You stupidity digger in her honors. I had this as the thumbnail because Yashite commented, what happened in 1711 or 711 that ushered in Satan being loosed? And well, my life as deja vu is, did I just say that? Or did I just think I said it? It is like that infinite loop. That would have been sad if I hadn't been sharing all that. Hola, Vicnoid. ¿Qué pasa? So nice to see you. Thank you so much for your recent support. You've been so helpful. And I just wanted to say that this is going to be a good thing here, what we're going over here. Let's start with the Bible verse of the night. Proverbs 29, verse 18. Where there is no prophetic vision, the people cast off restraint. But blessed is he who keeps the law. That law is now written on your heart. And the spirit of the law is better than the letter of the law any day. You could just pick a spot in here. They know this, but to them, it's another way to make money of know it somehow. Subscribe to Lionel Nation. He'll keep you up to date. He's right about this. And they haven't released the names yet. This play, well, let's see what the Lionel, I mean, the guy that never changes.
Statement says, the Army was at fault. We were conducting a clandestine investigation, or better yet, it appears that somebody may have hacked into this by virtue of some type of remote control, because that was one of the biggest concerns. And they were actually showing that one of the features of Black Hawk is it could be flown by remote control. Do you think, and this is an important question, Barry, do you think, have you ever heard an official statement that says, yep, that's us? 9/11, they go, yep, no, it wasn't what you think. No, we did this. No, that was us. You ever hear that? So what Barron is saying is he's repeating what they told you. And I'm not suggesting for a moment, Barron, that that's not true.
I think that sounds more plausible. Earlier, he said there were reports that the videos said it seems like the helicopter was chasing the plane.
Some folks connect the crash to, I know you're going to have a hard time believing this, political motives and political maneuvers, suggesting maybe it could be an attempt to divert attention. You love that, diverting attention from other scandals and the like to send a message. I mean, Trump's own questioning of the incident's avoidability has only fanned these flames, with some people seeing his comments as kind of an indirect acknowledgement of deeper issues.
Whoa.
And you think they're going to tell you all of the errors that they made? They're going to blame that, oh, as the one guy. And they're going to say, we lied. And remember, watch what the government admits to. Sparky says the helicopter was on its normal route, the jet wasn't. So you say, so Sparky, what happens if you're in the war and Al Qaeda is not on your spec? Let's say Al Qaeda says, hey, that's a Black Hawk. Yeah, they're going this way. Don't worry about it. They don't have any ability, no telemetry, no avionics, no nothing. They don't know who's out there. So remember, this Black Hawk, hey,
There's
if
a
it
Blackhawk. I was in the United States Army, as you've heard me say deja vu before. I was one of those jumping junkies until Ronald Reagan started testing everybody for marijuana. And I was in when they transitioned from the Huey to the Blackhawk. It was no comparison. The Blackhawk was 4 or 5 times better, conservatively speaking.
is probably right, but would you ever? Of course not. Do you understand that the United States media still, as of today, pay homage to a place called Shanksville where nothing ever crashed? And they put up a, an obelisk or a statue or some tribute. To this day,
I've been there.
presidents
I went there.
go there. Trump, and they salute. Nothing happened there.
No,
Nothing.
nothing.
Nobody ever questioned it. Never. And they had news reports that said, no, hold it. It's over here. New Baltimore, Indian Lake. That's where the collision. No, 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 no. I thought to myself, you've got to be kidding. And Barron, God bless him, because he said, you all are stupid. You're crazy. You don't know what's going on. It was this, based upon what they're telling you. Do you think anybody in the government, and again, I'm saying this for the millionth time, Jr., whose father was dispatched by Thane, whatever, Caesar, and nobody's ever even brought that up. Bobby brought it up, and nobody even listens to him. Bobby Kennedy says, I know who removed my father. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Okay. Bobby Kennedy's uncle, John Kennedy, his own family doesn't care. And you mean to tell me that you've got this plane thing all figured out? We don't we take presidents out, buildings, we destroy.
Wow. I thought I was a negative Nelly 2 hours ago. Hey, men who wear wigs, you know, Kevin Costner, it's like they all wear wigs. Because if they don't wear wigs, people would not think they're real men. Huh. How about that? Saturday night's all right for fighting. Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. I take that. I don't like comb overs. I'm not a big fan of the wig either. Michael Jordan just shaved his head. You know, whatever. Oh, I just had to get that picture though. I showed it earlier, right? Showed this part of it. It's like, hey, there goes my hair. Don't worry, I can fix it. The top the history of the GMO is so new. Probably November 22nd, 1973. Colleagues reported, hey, we built a plasmid, a ring of DNA that could carry the gene to another poop. The birth of genetic engineering. It says 6174. They finally go like, guess what we did? Team later showed it could modified cells produce protein, relatively new. By the life-saving drug hit the market less than 10 years later. In 1982. No problems. Ronald Reagan was letting it go, man. Everybody was making money. The Pentagon could start in on the $1 trillion debt they lost before 9/11. Number two, transgenic mice, 1974. Not to be outdone, they just jumped in on the next year. Now, hey, not transphobic mice, not transsexual mice, transgenic. Since then, transgenic and knockout mice were where a single gene is broken or removed, developed to mimic and study human diseases in Alzheimer's and alcoholism, depression, cancer. BT Tobacco in 1987. They had genetically modified tobacco. And guess what people are smoking if it's not organic? It's probably not yummy. They are grown on massive scales in countries around the world, said Emma Kovac, a food and agricultural analyst at the Breakthrough Institute. Going to break on through to the other side. Hey, it's an environmental think tank in Berkeley. The flavor tomato, the first food. Boom. So we're going from 1974, 1994. That'd be 20 years, 21 years, depending on when you start. Some people also trace a rise in GMO opposition back to flavor saver tomatoes. The tomato went through intense safety tests, but people opposed the GMO foods more generally then than now, point to potential health and environmental risks. Yeah, fortified rice, you got to get it. This is a China one, I think. Nope, Philippines. I just pre-read some of it, pulled these up and knew it was going to be gold. We're going to talk about it tonight. Deja vu like. 2 billion people face micronutrient deficiencies. Soon they will be feeding on each other as another judgment by God is commencing, and Satan is going to say, you see those cities, burn them down. Well, then we'll repopulate them and burn them down again. Yeah, keep drawing a line in the sand. Aqua Advantage Salmon, 2015. Making the salmon run, huh? It's a new way to get it okayed for the human food. Canada said, oh, not so fast. We want to get some of that GMO salmon too. American chestnut tree. Seen better days there. Genetically engineered tree is more resistant to fungal blight disease thanks to a wheat gene that breaks down the harmful chemicals. Okay. Some sort of just different sap or something. I don't think it's that big a deal. Mosquitoes, Bill Gates in this, tested in 2021. didn't want to tell the people first because they might have said, hey, more of that, what's going on with the modified mosquitoes? But Brazil said, count me in. Cayman Islands said, what's in it for me? Panama, India, sure, we'll test it. Was that it? Only 8? So here's the new syringe thing. Whoa. Huh? I'm going to read it for free. So we'll just, this is pretty much same thing. If you just check genetically modified, you're not going to find any of the history. Not too much anyway. Let's see what they say here. Humans have domesticated plants and animals since around 12,000 BCE. Excuse me. They need that time period so that they can turn teosinte into maize. That's the word. Corn is what we call it. Corn. Don't eat corn syrup. That's my. You go talk to your doctor, but in my opinion, don't do it. 72. Monkey virus. Wait a minute. The other genetic thing didn't say that. Various advancement in genetics. Okay, so that's not allowed humans to directly alter the DNA and therefore genes of organisms. In 72, Paul Iceberg created the first recombinant DNA molecule when he combined DNA from a monkey virus with that of the lambda bacteriophage. Well, there's better pictures of bacteriophage now than that. It's a little lunar lander thing. Wow, bacteriophage. Sorry. I was looking for the word bacteriophage to show you that it's they got a whole new idea of what's going on with the bacteriophage nowadays. From the Mayo virus, it's got a little lunar lander saying pow, pow, going to shoot out a syringe when it lands to test the soil. It's like looking in a mirror when I had gone without sleep for 5 or 6 days. What, dude? Take a nap. Looks like he has Graves' disease. Something wrong with his thyroid, possibly. I'm not a doctor. I'm a salt Paco. Hey, you, look at me when we're not talking. Zip it, do it inserts the DNA right there, right here. Gets past this barrier and it's looking for the receptor. You're infected. That's how it's good because we need bacteriophage in a healthy immune body. So this is how they test for asbestos too with these T1 electron. Let you know if it's chrysolite or if it's just some harmless dust. T1, yeah. I didn't get qualified for that. That too much schooling for not enough extra money, and I was only in it to go to NORAD anyway. Lambdaphage. History of agriculture, the history of genetically modified stuff. Here we got that first genetically plant. That'd be the flava tomato, right? Okay, got a genetically modified bacteria rolling to produce somatostatin. Soma. That's the name of the drug in the Alistair Huxley book. Don't give a damn, have a gram, Brave New World. Hey, look, I had a blue-eyed gray wolf for a while there in Texas. Some of you remember that. Hope everybody didn't leave Victoria alone here. Oh, good. She's got some company that away. Way to come through, you guys. History of genetic. Ooh, those poor mouse. Look at that one. He's dead. That's not good. But they don't care about it. There's that Paul Berg. Okay, here's what happened here. Edited the genomes of human embryos. Okay, China, what the hell? Excuse my French. I would say that sounds pretty bioethical. Controversy required. Just not the way to go. Now he's on the 100 most influential people in the world. The wide world's probably going to end up loving him. Going like, what? You mean you can be better than Botox? Do it. His actions received widespread criticism, included concern for the girl's well-being. Had some babies born, genome edited babies, and brought it out there right before COVID. I missed it. This is all new to me. Way to go, Hong Kong. Oh, now what China are we talking about? They're one China, right? Or not yet? London Missionary Society at the University of Hong Kong genome editing situation. Hey, that's a nice picture. Okay. Prometheus gifting mankind fire, or just some made up fable. Hi, I'm a made up fable in a controversy about cheating. Plastic surgery, orthodontics, pacemakers, gene therapy, cyberware. I thought it was cyber warfare. Uh, wow. Here's the main goal is. Here's where they make the money because people don't want to die. They want to think, because they're going to have to explain why did you think you could be naked and unashamed if you didn't they didn't have the right mind for it. They just want to run around naked. The shame was not something. The Starlink corn recalls, autumn 2000. I don't remember that either. 300 food products were found to contain genetically modified corn that had not been approved for human consumption. It was the first ever recall of a GMO food. The anti GMO crowd went nuts. No, they had detected it and they had to report it because the FDA was not doing its job. Well, we're trying to make Kraft buy Taco Bell so that everything can be Taco Bell. It all went downhill from here. Look at that taco hard shell. I was just kidding. I didn't even. Way to go. Way to go. Way to go, Kraft. I'm eating my last Velveeta if I can help it. Hey, what'd this guy do? Controversies, articles. Is it poison? Isn't it poison? Does it depend on who's the president? You know? I gotta just roll through this. So I'm gonna just take a break here and just tell you, in case anybody was wondering, I didn't go. I dropped that one class. I'm not going to do that class on the graphic comic book. I'm just going to take another class. I'll find when I'm trying to get into sculpture. I don't want to make it a big deal, or I'll take a history class. I don't want to be a gossip, but my advisor, his best friend just died in a freak accident where he was carrying a woman down the stairs in a wheelchair with somebody else, something that they have done every weekend for years, as they both work here at Adams and are both professors. And that's why I don't want to be a gossip about it. But they talk in class about, they get together for drinks and stuff. And eventually one got the girl, got in a wheelchair. And for younger days, they just walk her down 3 steps. And it's the drinking, and now his best friend's dead, and he knows he would just help that girl down the steps. They can build a ramp. They're loaded with money. It's just that people get into a routine. They're living their life in green. It's go. It's everything about me. Got to get it done or I'm a failure. God is judging it. That's what the deja vu is. DEI. That's right. And like I said, I sent an email to RJ to timestamp it, saying that they're not releasing the names. And that was in the first 6 hours, because normally, who did it and what, especially, they notify the family. But to not release it after this much time of who were the pilots of the plane. I showed some stuff earlier. If you come in late, check out the beginning of it. It's all about DEI. And right now, at what Adams State, while they're still pushing their diversity, what they don't realize is that Donald Trump is mafia. He's one of those guys that I was talking about, the Bill Richardsons and stuff that we'll get into, with the Epsteins, that crowd. And he was in with them. He was flying on those planes with those guys, and he's managed to keep it out of the news. And he's going to rub out everybody that has anything to do with it, and it's going to be erased from history. It's always going to be somebody else, and he cleaned it up, because he's going to go with bricks or something. There's a crackdown coming. There is no restoration of America on schedule for God's judgment before this end time is up. Well, let me forget to go over that, 1711 stuff. Okay, so there's that Pootsie Fair. Is this the same one? No peer-reviewed studies. They're going to argue about it. I mean, the girl that just got fired a couple of years ago from Harvard because they so proud she was the first black lesbian, and then she was plagiarized so much stuff. So of course they're going to call it conspiracy theories. They're not the narrow road. They don't care how much evidence you ever give them. It's never going to be enough. They're going to keep running. Michael Shermer, they've been running this guy out since, like, I'm an atheist and I don't want Buffalo Grove to have a cross on their police shield. It's these guys, these guys. They did it. So back to here, I had to get more of the wig thing. What's with people that do the comb over? I just think, hey, we showed some of their pictures. This is them with their wigs. That's the movie star look. He will judge world with righteousness. The first dust of the world, Proverbs 8:26. Proverbs 8:31. he was found rejoicing in the habitable part of his earth. He was rejoicing in it. Oh, its world is going to get judged. And you can't trust these. Look at it means the earth, the globe. By implication, its inhabitants. It means the world. It doesn't mean, the inhabited part. It means the world, the fullness thereof. Drew their line, the foundations of laid bare. Now that's a judgment. It was delighting in Adam, males, humans, his world, rejoicing in it. And how happy I was with the world he created, how I rejoiced with the human family. I think it's verse 16 where we want to pick this up. I could be wrong. Well, let's go back to 12. I, wisdom, dwell with prudence, and I find knowledge and discretion. The fear of the Lord is hatred of evil, pride and arrogance, and the way of evil and perverted speech I hate. I have counsel and sound wisdom. I have insight. I have strength. By me, kings reign. Now, rulers decree what is just. By me, princes rule and nobles, all who govern justly. Isn't that the difference between Psalm 82, those bad Elohim that didn't rule justly? I love those who love me, and those who seek me diligently find me. Riches and honor are with me, enduring wealth and righteousness. My fruit is better than gold, even fine gold, and my yield than choice silver. I walk in the ways of righteousness, in the path of justice, granting an inheritance to those who love me and filling their treasuries. The Lord possessed me at the beginning of his work, the first of his acts of old. I needed a drink now. Hold on to your hat. Verse 23. Ages ago, I was set up at the first before the beginning of the earth. When there were no depths, I was brought forth. When there were no springs abounding with water, before the mountains had been shaped, before the hills, I was brought forth. Before he had made the earth with its fields, or the fine dust of the world, when he established the heavens, I was there. When he drew a circle on the face of the deep, when he made firm the skies above, when he established the fountains of the deep, when he assigned to the sea its limit so that the waters might not transgress his command, when he marked out the foundation of the earth. Then I was beside him like a master workman. I was daily his delight, rejoicing before him always, rejoicing in his inhabited world and delighting in the children of man. And now, O sons, listen to me. Blessed are those who keep my ways. Hear instruction and be wise, and do not neglect it. Blessed are the ones who listen to me, watching daily at my gate, waiting beside my door. For whoever finds me finds life and obtains favor from Lord. But he who fails to find me injures himself. All who hate me love death. Ooh, oh, oh. Jeremiah chapter 17, the sin of Judah is written with a pen of iron, with a point of diamond. It is engraved on the tablet of their heart, and on the horns of their altars, while their children remember their altars and their ashram beside every green tree, on every high hill, on the mountains in the open country, your wealth and all your treasures I will give for spoil as the price of your high places for sin throughout all your territory. You shall loosen your hand from your heritage that I gave to you. I will make you serve your enemies in a land that you do not know. For in my anger, a fire is kindled that shall burn forever. Thus says the Lord. Curses the man who trusts in man and makes flesh his strength, whose heart turns away from the Lord. He is like a shrub in the desert and shall not see any good come. He shall dwell in the parched places of the wilderness in an uninhabited salt land. Blessed is the man who trusts in the Lord, whose trust is the Lord. He is like a tree planted by water that sends out its roots by the stream and does not fear when heat comes, for its leaves remain green, and is not anxious in the year of drought, for it does not cease to bear fruit. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately sick. Who can understand it? I, the Lord, search it out and test the mind and give every man according to his ways, according to the fruit of his deeds, like the partridge that gathers a brood that she did not hatch, so is he who gets riches, but not by justice. In the midst of his days, they will leave him, and at his end, he will be a fool. A glorious throne set on high from the beginning is the place of our sanctuary. O Lord, the hope of Israel, all who forsake you shall be put to shame. Those who turn away from you shall be written in the earth, for they have forsaken the Lord, the fountain of the living water. Heal me, O Lord, and I shall be healed. Save me, and I shall be saved, for you are my praise. Behold, they say to me, where is the word of the Lord? Let it come. I have not run away from being your shepherd, nor have I desired the day of sickness. You know what came out from my lips. It was before your face. Be not a terror to me. You are my refuge in the day of disaster. Let those be put to shame who persecute me. Do not let me be put to shame. Let them be dismayed. Not let be, but let not me but let me not be dismayed. Bring upon them the day of disaster. Destroy them with the double destruction. Okay. The burden on the Sabbath. They didn't know how to do it. They went with the oral tradition instead of the law. Jeremiah 25, verse 17. So I took the cup from the Lord's hand and made all the nations to whom the Lord sent me drink it. I have to take another drink, so un momento. This will be hard. I would say for you guys, you're not this bad. You're not these people. Okay? You're Gentiles. You didn't do this. You aren't these people that made Jesus come back going like, where is that wicked and despised generation? I'm going to kindle a fire. We're not those guys. We're dead in our sins, but we're not these guys. This was the worst judgment ever. What we have going on is, I'm not saying it's going to be fun or a cakewalk or anything. Oh my goodness. If you're offended by, well, here we go. Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, its kings and officials, to make them a desolation and a waste, a hissing and a curse, as at this day. Pharaoh, king of Egypt, his servants, his officials, all his people, and all the mixed tribes among them, all the kings of the land of Uz, and all the kings of the land of the Philistines, they're big. The remnants of the giants, Edom, Moab, and the sons of Ammon, all the kings of Tyre, all the kings of Sidon, all the kings of the coastland across the sea, Dedan, Tema, Buz, and all who cut the corners of their hair, all the kings of Arabia, mixed tribes, kings of the mixed tribes, that would be you, who dwell in the desert, all the kings of Zimri, all of the kings of Elam, all the kings of Media, all the kings of the north, far and near, one after another, and all the kingdoms of the world that are on the face of the earth. And after them, the king of Babylon shall drink. Then you shall say to them, thus says the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, drink, be drunk, and vomit, fall and rise no more, because of the sword that I am sending among you. Hmm. And if they refuse to accept the cup from your hand to drink, then you shall say to them, thus says the Lord of hosts, you must drink. For behold, I begin to work disaster at the city that is called by my name. And shall you go unpunished? You shall not go unpunished, for I am summoning a sword against all the inhabitants of the earth. See, people that teach, oh, Jerusalem was a local thing, like post-millennialist preterist. Yeah, that's what their religion teaches. I know you don't use the term right, some of you. Still, it's going to be on all people. Verse 30. You therefore shall prophesy against them all these words and say to them, the Lord will roar from on high, and from his holy habitation utter his voice. He will roar mightily against his fold and shout like those who tread grapes against all the inhabitants of the earth. The clamor will resound, not a local judgment, to the ends of the earth. For the Lord has an indictment against the nations. He is entering into judgment with all flesh. And the wicked he will put to the sword, declares the Lord. Thus says the Lord of hosts, behold, disaster is going forth from nation to nation. Our takeaway is that Satan was bound so that he could no longer deceive the nations. Well, he certainly is making up for his lost time. And a great tempest is stirring from the farthest parts of the earth. And those pierced by the Lord on that day shall extend from one end of the earth to another. They shall not be lamented or gathered or buried. They shall be dung on the surface of the ground. Because it came as a flood, it came as lightning, it came as mud floods, it came as burning sandstone storms. I mean, bone dissolving sandstorms. Wail, you shepherds, and cry out. Verse 34 starts, it then continues. And roll in ashes, you lords of the flock. For the days of your slaughter and dispersion have come, and you shall fall like a choice vessel. No refuge will remain for the shepherds, nor escape for the lords of the flock. A voice, the cry of the shepherds, and the wail of the lords of the flock. For the Lord is laying waste their pasture. and the peaceful folds are devastated because of the furious anger of the Lord. Like a lion, he has left his lair, for their land has become a waste because of the sword of the oppressor and because of his burning anger. Wow. Jeremiah, that's where it just goes crazy. It goes completely crazy to where they didn't listen at all. They kidnapped Jeremiah and took him back to Egypt. So while he was there, the word of the Lord was still coming to Jeremiah concerning the Judeans who lived in the land of Egypt. Again, they left. They did exactly what God told them not to do. What they always wanted to do was go back to Egypt. And they did not listen or incline their ear, turn from evil. Thus says the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, behold, I will set my face against you for harm, to cut off all of Judah. I will take the remnant of Judah who have set their faces to come to the land of Egypt and live, and they shall be consumed. Everybody's going to be consumed, famine, sword, pestilence, except some fugitives. And here's basically one of the big problems. Picking it up in verse 15. Then all the men who knew their wives were, you know, making offerings to other gods, and all the women who stood by a great assembly, all the people who lived there back in the land of Egypt because they thought it was a good idea, told the prophet of God, as for the word you have spoken to us in the name of the Lord, we will not listen to you. We made a vow to the Queen of Heaven, and it's going just fine without you. Somehow it's worked out like that. RJ sent me a couple of videos earlier. This one got deleted 4 million times.
You don't have plates on your vehicle, okay? So what I'm going to do, I need you to get out of the vehicle to chat with us. Otherwise, I'm going to ask you to get out of the car. So right now I'm asking you. Okay, I'm going to tell you to get out of the car. You need to get out of the car right now. I'm going to make you get out of the car. What that means, I'm going to break the window, unlock the vehicle, and pull you out. Understand? Okay, sir. I'm telling you, if we have to, we will break the window, unlock the vehicle, and pull you out. Do you want it to get to that, or do you want to come out and talk to us? Okay, so what are we going to do here?
We're going to have a gunfight on the side of the road is what we're going to have.
You do not need to have a gunfight.
Well, then you better start listening.
Wow. Okay. No. Do what you feel you got to do.
That are you?
I'm saying do not get in a gunfight on the side of the road.
We're in a bind then.
Okay, we're in a bind.
I want you to get out and explain it to me.
Who's got jurisdictions? What is all this? Wow. This is something I should probably watch. It's probably going to get pretty hairy. I hope they don't have a shootout.
Talk to somebody.
There ain't nothing to talk about.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. So you wouldn't want to talk to anybody?
There's nobody.
Wow. I want to see what Zach had here too. It's the San Luis Valley here. Here's where the armpit of college education because of DEI, not DUI. I might have misspoke that.
If you're looking to move to or buy land in rural Colorado, one of the fastest growing regions is the San Luis Valley, a hub of culture, recreation.
Yeah, this is because the Mennonites, the Amish, and hopefully we can get a bunch of people here because it's
and agriculture.
It's big.
The San Luis
It's
Valley
not full
is
at
home
all.
to some of the most breathtaking views in the world. In this
and besides, there's mountains, there's other valleys.
video, we'll take a peek at some of the reasons why people are flocking to this paradise in the mountains.
Well, I don't know if they're flocking to it. Let's watch it on YouTube so that thing doesn't keep popping up.
The San Luis Valley is a captivating blend of cultures and history. For
It's an
thousands
old
of the valley
Nazi
to love,
town.
celebrating
Ku
its
Klux
heritage with
Klan
modern
took
folk
it
music,
over in the
traditional dance,
1920s.
and local crafts. You'll find heirloom produce and handmade goods that were
Yeah, those trains are still just sitting out there, getting faded. What are you doing?
Whether you're exploring Native American history or enjoying the vibrant local celebrations, the Valley offers
Yeah, it's it. There's downtown. Look the other way. It's a couple more blocks, but they set up this thing, once a month when it's nice out. This is the Rio Grande River, Rio
summers alike,
Bravo.
offering the potential for diverse agricultural operations. The unique climate provides ideal growing conditions that differ significantly from lower altitude regions. For homeowners, the land is perfect for creating homesteads that can support personal agriculture.
I think it's the perfect place for those earth homes. See how they kick up in the wintertime. Look at what's that?
Each season offers its own unique adventure.
Yeah.
In winter, the valley transforms into a cross-country skiing heaven, inviting you to glide through the pristine snow. From the majestic Sangre de Cristo Mountains to the enchanting, enjoying a relaxing day fishing. Whether you prefer the
I don't know. That's a good mini bike trail. You do your own research. What else did I got? That's a prophetic vision verse. I got Ken Salazar. He's studying the water here. He's one of the guys. Now, somehow, he worked for Obama, was on the Hillary Clinton transition team. I don't know. I'd like to see that, he's a big part of what's going on here. And I'd like him to be separate from the Beverly McClure stuff and the Bill Richardson stuff. I just don't know what's going to happen. So he's the ambassador to Mexico. I've spoken to him twice. Did work here. Now he's trying to set up this water conservation study class thing at the university here. His family goes back a long way in this area. So does their history in politics. And, he's one of those guys, but he's in the valley. He was actually, here's a Bill Richardson. He was picked. What's this list? Here's Bill Richardson on the list. Andrew Cuomo is on the list. Okay. Gail Norton, are you kidding me? Interior under George W. Bush. This is a John Ashcroft. This is a big list to get on. Mike Espy. There you go. Is this an honor to be on this list? Ed Madigan, there's a Chicago politician, I believe, from Lincoln, Illinois. So Dick Cheney's on it. And so was Ken Salazar. This is the list of the designated survivor in case somebody nuked the State of the Union address. They pick one person who doesn't go in case there's a really big one, a big one, and somebody has to take over as the acting president. Just tell everybody, hey, no big deal. You still owe taxes. Send it in. We got a little rebuilding to do. We just got a catastrophic bombing and everybody's dead. But don't worry. Dick Cheney's the acting president. Or Nora. What? Who? What? Why not? You can't go to the thing tonight. You could be the president. Huh. So Bill Richardson, electric charging thing. He died a couple of years ago. did a lot of these good works, and stuff like that. But he did keep getting put up. Go do something good. He nominated 3 times for a Nobel Peace Prize. But he never won. But he was always right there, one of their guys that they put up. And sure enough, you saw earlier, he's one of these guys. He recommended the girl that in 2015 got appointed. We're going to be going over that one more time. I'm going to just skim it. I might just skim it. So here she is. Let's see. She's still giving speeches. This is last summer, 2024. Dialogue, personal, sharing her experiences, getting fired at first woman president of this university, and she got fired. She took it from bad to worse. She's still something, though, in her hometown. She's doing this now in 2023. It's like artificial intelligence machines are new in New Mexico. Of course, she'd have to be there, Once you get an opportunity to experience it, you're going to be like, oh, I get it now. That's why 20 minutes can work, said Beverly McClure Shaw. She's the owner of the Exercise Coach in Northeast Albuquerque. And they're using artificial intelligence. Why not? Still there. It's right there. Go get him. So she's the exercise coach. There she is. In 2010, did this flip? She was doing something conservative here. And they're saying, she should be Keith Olbermann's worst person in the world. I don't know where this came from. I just was clicking around for her name. Appointed by Governor Bill Richardson to be the first secretary of the new State Department of Higher Education in 2005. Okay, it took her 10 years to get from that to here. Okay. All right. Somehow she's too conservative. Challenging it to wake up and back conservative candidates in the upcoming, So it's kind of, but they hired her within 10 years, 10th president of the university. She's demonstrated leadership, currently residing in Albuquerque, president of something, that Bill Richardson put her in charge of. You're going to do fine, he said. Looking forward, everybody thought it's going to be great. This is going to be great. So, well, they had to buy out her contract a couple of years later for a $250,000, a $40,000 to $50,000 car, and a laptop. Okay. You could say 7.5 years to get a work of a regular junior professor in what she did in that little bit of time, and stocked this with a ton of DEI, and they will lie to your face. And so here's the thing, this is her dressing up at a party with friend, and she's like, what? Nobody can take a joke. This was while she was still working. She got hired in the, 2015, I believe. Wow. But she felt like, I guess I could do anything. And she just settled for, okay, give me $250,000 and I'm out of here. Intimidation is rampant, and I lived through that recently. Here's this article after article. It's the bottom of the barrel. Settles with ex-teacher, cost him $100,000 because They lied to his face like they lied to my face. Heartbreaking stories, faculty treated like peons. So everybody, a lot of good people left. It's been a not a good place to retain work. Fire. Here's the speech code, this sexual harassment thing, if you want to read it. It's a blueprint from the U.S. Department of Education. It depends on, it's just what, you get the opposite. In my school, a guy can say, okay, including, freshman girls in the class. He's going, have a good weekend. Don't forget to keep it evil. And then the DEI group, can't you tell when somebody's joking? Oh, where's the other teacher joking when she said, I hope you had a happy zombie Jesus day, when she was referencing what some people call Resurrection Sunday. That was a joke too. Can't I take a joke? No, I guess I couldn't. I guess I didn't want to take that joke. Deja vu. What is this? Too much work. Unethical online program should be scrapped. That's even more recent, or 2016. How are they outside consultant, distance learning? What's it going to be like? She banned this film instructor, had to pay $100,000 because she lied about it. Wow. Here she is.
Our Grizzly family. You will join thousands of other students and graduates who have trusted us with their future. And you will find, as so many others, that a degree from us will help you compete globally. You'll join entrepreneurs to congressmen, educators to professional athletes. You will be part of the Grizzly family here on campus.
Did you see that hill? You remember last year when I was jumping the mini bike? That's the hill. It's right there by those guys they can look over their shoulder and see the Rio Grande. And then, well, you guys saw it. It's a few people use it.
Athletes. You will be part of the Grizzly family here on campus as well as out into the Korea State University. We look forward to being part of your future.
Yay! And then you got put on probation. But 9 years ago, let's see how many views they're getting nowadays. Let's see what they got. 26 views 2 weeks ago. 24, 20, 21. Wow. We get more than that. And this is where, who knows what goofy stuff you'll hear. Just not that popular of a channel, I guess. Hey, look, somebody did a backflip.
Adams State makes a huge difference in the lives of our students and our community.
That's the president, David Tanberg.
Appreciate the legislature for recognizing our important work. Now, I said I'd do a backflip, so you're gonna get a backflip.
Do it. Terrible. Hey, I know that guy, Cruz. Cruz was in a sculptor class. Way to go, Dr. Tanberg. He's not I don't think he's a bad guy. I don't know. I've been to his house. It's a mansion.
Utes, the Jicarilla Apaches, Comanches, Kiowas, Arapaho, Cheyenne, Navajo Nation, Pueblos, and all of
So they read this before they have their classes.
interaction. So this is from the Center for Creative Leadership.
This is one of the DEI, instructors.
So the role of an ally is really twofold. It is about reflecting on the power, privilege, and access available as a result to belonging to a particular identity.
One, holding information. The second, limited experiences or opportunities. The third is a perceived ability.
All right, we will
Okay,
continue.
see, most people come here to eat. There's one table that's full of activist DEI people, and she's just looking for a look for. Give me a
She's on a
soundbite.
journey. So
Nope.
this was stage 1. All right. All right, so let's look on to stage 2. So stage 2 begins making strategies to impact
They
that.
get paid to do
All
this,
right, let's bring it back to the group.
and they pay for the food to say, "Look, we're doing it. We're teaching DEI." There's Joaquin. I think him and his wife are just getting some free food, man.
All right, let's move on. Oh, because there's paper on the tables, and you might want to show a drawing instead.
Okay, here we go. Listen to this thing. I gotta.
So
I
how
see
we
her
can better
around.
support our communities is by, I think, just listening,
Not this guy.
sometimes
I don't know
offer
him.
help when we shouldn't. So just listening to people that walk into our spaces and into our workplaces.
All right, thanks very much. Yes. Okay.
Big smiles, everybody. Smiles. This is
All
a
right, we
girl.
went with the Pictionary approach, so I'm only showing 3 images to which you have to come up with the answers. So we know the answers, so this has to come from you. Okay, so the middle one is time. Space, yes, number 1 is space. Well, that's close. Don't be a shit.
I don't get it. Don't be a shit. Is that what she said? But it doesn't play on the closed caption.
Thank you.
She's a vice president.
I don't think
Anyway, awkward, right?
better visual accessibility, especially from the main
Got one
campus because
speaker.
there's not a whole lot of light and that kind
She's
of
a teacher here.
um,
There's 3 or 4 of these girls
reduces a lot
from
of
Nigeria
experience
teaching
and
here.
lack of safety. So just being there to support.
Thank you. I'm getting paid. I'm getting paid. I'm getting paid. Now she owns a whatever. So this is what I want to make. I want to do this in art class, and I'm just kind of like, look, man, this is what I want to make. I want to, they charge too much. They're charging too much. It does work. Why is it only for rich people? This stuff works. You want a water vortices prototype set? Should it be $250? These things should be free. But it's not that it's not important. This and maybe some hydrogen water, but more importantly, colloidal silver. It doesn't have to be out of this world crazy expensive, man. So that's my life. But I do want to close with what I showed in that one verse. What is up with the 1711? Why? Shortly, because Matthew 24, Lord says, pay attention to what's going on in Daniel. And this has never changed from the Flat Earth Nation Golden Age past. This is part of what it's what is the prophecy. of everything Flat Earth Nation, Golden Age past, that has brought out that truth and so many other imitators. It comes back to pay attention in Matthew 24. When are these stones going to be knocked down? And the Lord more than implies, well, it's going to be the abomination of desolation. That's the abomination of desolation. That's what's going to happen. He said, read about it in Daniel. So, and as at that time, me and a few other people were the only ones reading this as, mud flood was Armageddon. That's what the star forts were and everything else. So now we had to go back and say, oh, so now that's the time when the regular burnt offering is taken away. That's the abomination that makes desolate. That's when it happens. So when the building gets torn down and from what we just read, the whole world is judged, there'll be 1,290 days. And since it doesn't say, days and mornings and nights, this is open and everybody does the day year thing, and I do too. You cancel the 1,000 years. That's the ruling of Christ with the rod of iron, while Satan can't deceive the nations. And they're a leftover remnant who come out of the mountains. Not somebody who comes out of the mountain in the first century world of Josephus and Polycarp and all those fakers who are acting like, oh, I knew Jesus. No, you didn't. Or if you did, you weren't confused about when John wrote the book of Revelation and the other nonsense. So 290 days from what event? Because blessed is he who arrives at the 1,335. Well, that's another 45 years. So there has to be something in our life, as everything else about the prophecy, with the stones crying out, our narrow roadedness. Here we are in Alamosa, running away from the people that flew on the Epstein Express. Blessed is he who waits and arrives 45 years after what is 9/11. 9/11 changed the world. All the mafias of the world had to be in on it, as they forgave all the debts of the too big to fail crowd, started the quantitative easing to bring it up to 35 trillion, and know that they need BRICS in a new way. And now each country, nation, is provided with its own strongman leader that's going to be able to do newspeak. What we say is what we say. Trump was never on the Lolita Express. We get it. Or you're dead. You could be lobotomized if you want to play that game. So that's what the 45 years are, and that's where that starts. So there it is, in an hour, in less than an hour and 20 minutes, you get caught up. I'm still shopping for what classes are going to work with me. I know I'm here for this semester, and maybe that's all it needs to be, because we don't know what's going to happen. But I promise you, the mud flood was Armageddon, that it's a flat earth nation. The golden age is past. And after that, there was a reaping, another group of remnants repopulated with a bunch of orphan trained nonsense, globe in every classroom. Here we go again. Me and my friends are never going to tell you anything else. Why would we? We're one called, two chosen, three faithful, four elect, five predestined, seven adopted. And we have your best interest at heart. Amen. Hallelujah. Aho. Aloha. Arrivederci. Ciao. Sayonara. Auf Wiedersehen. Nagamen. That's how you say goodbye.